Hello, everyone. I am Danny Kramer. I am currently at the gym that I teach at right now at John Muir Elementary. And with all the skills and units that we've had this year for this assignment, I thought it'd be a very good idea to kind of show you what I did for one of my units, and that is how to shoot a basketball. Now, I'll still try to be really loud. My gym echoes quite a bit, actually, so I don't want to be too loud just because classes are going on right now. But I'll make sure that I am loud enough so that you guys can hear. So, when it comes to shooting a basketball, there are a lot of key things that go into that one simple movement. And of course, shooting is probably a majority of the students' favorite part of the basketball unit. So we play a lot of shooting games, but before we get into any of that kind of stuff with our students, we like to teach them the basics of shooting because there's a lot that goes into it. So what I have been doing for the past couple of years that I have been teaching Phi-Ed, I have an acronym that I go by, and it is right here, and it is called BEEF, okay? So it has 4 things that go into shooting. B for the balance part, E for elbows, and then the second E is for the eyes, and then finally the F is for the follow through. And I'll walk you through each of those movements just so that you can get a good grasp of BEEF when it comes to shooting. And what I'll do at the very end, I will show you guys how you perform that specific skill. So I am a little bit more of a football and baseball type of guy. But I've been practicing my jumper a little bit, so we'll see how it goes. So let me just walk you through BEEF. So with balance, what you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart. So they are in line just with my shoulders. And also, I am right-handed. What you would do if you're a right-handed shooter, you would turn your feet slightly to the left. So if you were making a clock with your feet, you try to have your feet just tilted a little bit to the left to give you balance with your shot. And what I tell my students is I like to make sure that your feet are at 11 o'clock. So just tilt it a little bit to the left. Now, if you are a left-handed shooter, you're just gonna tilt those feet just a little bit towards that 1 o'clock, so a little bit to the right. Again, that'll give you very good balance. When you are shooting with balance, you want to make sure you have a soft bend in those knees just so that you have a good solid base when you are receiving the ball and also about to perform your shot, okay? Up next, elbows. So where we position the ball. So let me just grab my handy dandy ball right here. So with elbows, I like to make sure that my elbow is in line with my chest. And the reason why I do that is if I have it too high up, I have to use more wrist, and that's going to be harder for me to get momentum with the ball. So I like to have it down low. That way, when I have it down low, I get more of a push and I could get more velocity and power with my shot so I could shoot at a farther distance, okay? So with elbow, I like to make sure that it's in line with my chest, okay? Now, that was for a right-handed shooter. Left-handed shooter, it would be right here. And then one more thing I want to talk about with the positioning as well too, whatever hand you are not shooting with, it is going to go to the side, okay? That way, not only do you have a balance with your feet, but you also have a balance with the ball as well too, and you have more control with your shot if you have your hand to the side. So because I'm a right-handed shooter, right hand is on the bottom, left hand goes to the side, okay? Again, that's also going to give me balance with my shot. The next one, eyes. So with eyes, there's no right or wrong answer for this, but what I always tell my students is there are multiple things you can aim at. Find a focal point that you're gonna look at, because if you take your eyes off the basketball hoop, I should say, or the rim, your shot is probably not gonna be as accurate. So make sure you're always staying focused at that focal point that you are looking at. It's a thing that I also say to my athletes for strength conditioning as well too. If they're like squatting or performing a movement, make sure they have a focal point so that they have that good positioning to be successful. So with eyes, what I tell my students is I tell them to look at the back of the rim, okay? And the reason why I do that is just because they'll get a little bit more power with that shot, and there's also a likelihood that it could hit the backboard, that red square that you see straight ahead. And then I think it's more likely that it may go in the hoop. Now, others say aim at the front of the rim. I say back of the rim. Some people aim at the square. And there's no right or wrong answer for that. So you can do either or. I'd say if you're doing a layup, I'd say preferably aim for the square. So that is the eyes element right there. And then finally the follow through, okay? So with the follow through right here, so I have my base, my feet are shoulder width apart, just at 11 o'clock. So I'm tilted a little bit if you can see me. My elbows are placed at my chest, and then I have my hand to the side as a counterbalance, okay, my less dominant hand. And then I have my eyes looking straight ahead, okay? Now with my follow through, what I wanna make sure that I'm doing, as I bend and I'm about to jump and hit that top point with my jump shot, I wanna make sure that I am fully extended and flicking my wrist as if I'm dipping my hand in a cookie jar, okay? So with just a little flick of the wrist, you're gonna have a good follow through with that, and the ball should have a little bit of a backspin with that when you flick and shoot that basketball. So that is the follow through right there. So again, beef, we have balance, elbows, eyes, and follow through, okay? And what I'm gonna do for you guys, I'm just gonna show you how that skill looks at that hoop straight ahead. Granted, let me just say, I am a football and baseball guy, but let's see what I got, okay? If I miss it, I'll do another example. I may go a little bit closer, but let's just see how it goes, okay? So, here's beef. Okay, so I took not one, not two, but 3 jumpers. So I guess I wasn't as warmed up as I thought. So what I tried to show you guys, I tried to show you balance, okay? So again, having my feet tilted just a little bit to the side at 11 o'clock because I am using my right hand to shoot, okay? I have a soft bend in those knees with my jump shot. And then my elbows, making sure that it is just in front of my chest, just so that I can get power with my shot. And then what I tried to do, I was looking at the back of the rim, but looks like I got that part literally, so maybe I should have aimed for the front. Lesson learned there. And then my follow through, felt like it was okay. Apparently the shot just did not go in. Third one did. And kind of like what I talked about earlier with the eyes, just finding that true focal point when it comes to your shot. So what I did on that third one, yes, I was a closer distance, but what I wanted to make sure, because with the closer the shot, the more accurate it's going to be. I was aiming for that red square, just giving it a light tap from a close distance. When I do that, it's more likely to go in the hoop. So that's what I did right there with my third jumper. So it took me 3 shots to make that. So that is my acronym BEEF. That is stuff that we walk through, or I should say I walk through with my students in their basketball unit, and then we get into other shooting games, like we get into Around the World, we get into layup practice, we get into the game of lightning. So there's a variety of games that we do for our physical education unit in basketball, and it's actually, to me, I think one of the more popular units, just because we have a high school just down the road, and there are students that are extremely interested in basketball. And of course we have athletes that are interested in a lot of other things, but basketball is definitely one of our bigger units here. So I may have to practice my jumper when it comes to making it, but those are just the basics right there that I teach before we get started with the shooting activities or drills, whatever it may be for that unit. So again, BEEF, focused on balance, elbows, eyes, and follow through. And that is how you shoot a basketball. And of course, if you have any questions, always feel free to let me know.